we have Ben from Fixie. Welcome, Ben.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Good. So yeah, my name is Ben Lauer, and I lead developer relations at Fixie. And I appreciate all of you that are still on the webinar for hanging into the end. We've had a lot of great content. I will just say to the Redwood team, thanks for having me. And I'm going to make a plug. Next time we should do this in person. I want to just hang out with all these panelists. There's so much great content and so many questions I have. We use Vercel. And so there's just a ton of great stuff. So thanks for putting this all together. So today I want to talk a little bit about large language models. So this is super high level. I only have a few moments, but the way you train a model is you take known data and you take known results, and then you can train a model with those two inputs. Then when you have this model, you can take novel inputs. So a prompt, if you've used ChatGPT, you type something in, and then that novel input can be converted by the model into something that's relevant and useful. Okay, so the super high level how these things work. So the thing I want to do though is say that here's an example, right? So I actually went out to a large language model and I said, hey, write a wrap in the style of the wrapper logic about RedwoodJS, and make sure to refer to Tom Preston Werner as TP Dub, and then make sure to get a good line or two in there about David Price and the core team. And it was actually really cool. The LLM came back with a whole rap song and a chorus. And, you know, I said, hey, let's get this TP Dub thing in there, and David and the core team, and you can see it weaves that in. And this just shows that this model understands what rap is. It understands who logic is, and it also understands things about RedwoodJS, and then it's able to take these additional instructions and then weave this all together. So this is, in my opinion, this is magical, right? This is really cool. And so you see this, and then a lot of our customers are thinking about building and deploying high quality LLM powered experiences, right? And you see something like that and you're like, wow, it's like, I'm going to be sitting on top of the world. This is a dream. This is amazing. But then let's look at another example. How can I use React Server components with RedwoodJS? And then I want to just call out two things here. As of my current knowledge, and then this big disclaimer at the bottom, these models are all trained at a point in time. They're limited. They have vast knowledge, but they don't know everything. And so then what happens is the reality sets in of building one of these experiences, and it's like we're at the bottom and we have to scale this mountaintop. So the reality then about deploying these high quality experiences, it's hard. There's a lot of things you have to deal with to build these things. You can get a POC and a hack stood up in a weekend, but to do this at production scale, you have to deal with all of these things: hallucinations, context window limits, and so on and so forth. And at Fixie, we are making this all easier. I want to talk about a couple of things that you can go start doing right now. First is this framework, and I got to talk to Lee after this. He had that big slide, and I know Dave said the same thing, like, hey, how do we get on that list? AI.JSX is an open source framework that allows you to just write React components and JSX, and you can now start building powerful AI, conversational AI applications. And this is available today. It's on our GitHub, and you can go get this. But I also want to talk for a moment about this concept that we're calling Fixie sidekicks. These are embeddable conversational assistants that you can embed right inside your application. So imagine, you know, you go to a website these days and there's all those little chat things that most of the time when I try to use them, it says our support team is only here these hours, or they're very high level what they can do. We're enabling our customers to build these sidekicks that can have full knowledge of everything that the company is doing, and support documentation and so forth. So let me give you a quick demo. And I got to just switch my screen here. And this is a sidekick, and this is one we're building with one of our early partners. And sorry, just got to switch over to this window. There we go. And so this isn't embedded in the website. I've pulled this out into its own thing so we can see it better. But I can start to ask it things about how do I connect my Gmail? So Help Scout allows you to connect your email to the product and have things flow through the system. And this is a live demo. I did pray to the demo gods this morning a couple of times. But you can see here, this is actually giving us an answer. And this is synthesized from the entire Help Scout knowledge base and their product, support, and API documentation. And so I think this is a much easier way to engage. It also then gives us citations. We could click through if we want to go to the detailed docs on these topics, but we get a very useful answer that we can go action on. But I want to show you something else that you can do with a Sidekick. So this is again working because we've trained the agent on this additional data source. But let's take a look at another query. Who are the active users in my account? Okay, so now what this is doing is we've actually given the LLM access to tools. These tools are APIs in the Help Scout platform. It's doing a live query, so it recognizes what I'm asking it. It knows what tool to go use, and it goes and does this query to get back real-time data so that it can answer my question here. But the other thing that you're going to see here in a second is we've moved beyond just simple text. We're doing another thing in these sidekicks called Generative UI. We're building JSX components and giving those to the model, and it can now display things in a very visual way. So we see photos, we see this nice table, and the model is actually able to reason about which components to use for which query. So we think this is really exciting, this idea that the UI can be generated dynamically at runtime. So let me switch back over to my slides, and I got a couple more things, and then we will get out of here. I know everyone's going a little bit late here. Okay, so we should see the slides back up. So let me just summarize the core features of these sidekicks. They're grounded. So again, we've done this technique called retrieval augmented generation, aka RAG, and we've built this vector database of knowledge, again, based on documents and URLs that we gave it about Help Scout. These can be anything that you want that's relevant to your product or your company. Also, we've made these agents action-oriented through the use of tools and APIs, as I mentioned. We've made a multimodal with Generative UI, and these are embeddable. And what context-aware means is when these are embedded in your web application, they can know what's going on in the web page, and we can have two-way communication between the web app and the Sidekick. So these are also enhanced by the Fixie cloud. So this is all optional, but you can, when you sign up and use the Fixie cloud, you get all these nice delighters. You can have hosting, observability monitoring, and so forth. So I want to just make an offer here is that we will build alongside you and your development team. If you want to build a Sidekick and bring this to your customers, whether it's on the support side, the marketing side, the product side. So definitely feel free to reach out. We'd love to talk to you. We'll also be at the RedwoodJS Conference next month. We're doing a session on conversational AI and also running a workshop on AI JSX. And then finally, we are doing a hackathon in our Seattle offices, September 16th, and would invite anyone. I'm just going to end on this slide. You can scan that QR code if you want to register for the hackathon. We'll have the whole team there. It's going to be a lot of fun building things with LLMs and AI. So thank you very much, and hope to see some of you at the hackathon and at the RedwoodJS Conference.
Thanks, Ben. I'm so glad that you mentioned the conference because you said it would be great if we're all together in person, and we will be together in person at the conference. Awesome. Peter, do you have any questions or comments?
I do. Why is the company named Fixie, and who is the fox?
Okay, so the company's called Fixie for a couple of reasons. Matt Welsh, one of the co-founders, is really into bicycles. And so, as you may know, a
I knew-
Fixie is a type of bicycle. It's a fixed gear bicycle, if you don't know. And then the other reason, my understanding is the URL was available. So I think that's always the kind of consideration that you have to do these days when naming a company. And then the Fox, we wanted a mascot for the company, something that was kind of fun and that people could relate to. The Fox's name is actually Foxy. And we actually are doing some more work to create some more versions of her, so we can have some fun. I think we'll have some fun swag at the hackathon with Foxy.
Perfect.
So Ben,
Great.
yes, I want all those things you mentioned. So let's do that. Done. So question for you though, you're saying if someone were to come to the RedwoodJS conference and go to one of the workshops, they could learn how to use all these things. And if they DM David Price, he'd probably make him a great deal on the workshop price. All that's true?
Knowing the kind of generous individual that you are, I would assume that you make them a great deal on the workshop. But yes, we will. I mean, it's a 2-hour workshop, so I can't guarantee that people will leave with like the full Sidekick built, but we'll definitely get into everything that you would need to do and send everyone home, hopefully feeling like that gentleman sitting on top of the world, with the nice sunset above the clouds and all the possibilities ahead.
We're really excited
the
to get
Foxy
to
swag.
And the Foxy swag.
Oh yeah. We will definitely bring Foxy swag.
I love the dynamically generated UI elements in the chat. Kind of, did you train on something else to pull those? Did you build a stock set? How are you thinking about adding to them? Can you just tell us a little more about them?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, the short answer is it's like early innings and we're just kind of figuring it out. The way that works right now is we've done a lot of really good prompt engineering to essentially tell the model, hey, you have these MDX components available to you, and you should use them when they make sense. And then I would say like right now we've built a handful of these components. We think in the future we probably need to get to something like Bootstrap or Tailwind UI, where there's like a set of sort of canonical components. But I think that's going to avail itself as we kind of continue to work with customers and figure out like what is the right mix. But you can definitely, through the prompt in your own application, you can say, hey, if the user asks this type of query or you're giving back this kind of information, use this component. And we've figured out how to get the model to generally respect that. So yeah, it's very early in a work in progress, but this idea that you can no longer have to think about every single permutation of your UI and build that as an engineering team, and instead you can kind of just give these Legos, these building blocks to the model and let it happen at runtime, we think is really exciting and is going to change the way that software gets built.
Awesome. Love it.
Right on.